Baltimore police were here earlier reminding the picketers that they cannot block the entrance to the port. The longshoremen walked off the job at 12:01 a.m. There was confusion and anger as picketers initially tried to stop trucks from entering, and it did turn violent.
Are you angry?
No.
It's because you're not paying attention. And I wasn't either until 7 days ago. I had no idea who these guys were, nor did I care.
We don't care.
But now America hears their voices loud and clear, because every day this strike goes on, this country will lose $5 billion a day. And if you're wondering why you should care, I'll tell you. But first, let's talk about the fighting, because people are here for the drama first, and then I'll show you more clips that I'm 100% sure you haven't seen yet. Roll a clip.
I come here for 7 years. I pull the trash and the debris out of here for the Port of Baltimore, and the officer told me to come back and go in there to get out of my way, and they attacked me and broke the windshield and lacerated my face. Look at it.
Now, there are two ways you can look at this. His side of the story, which is he's just trying to do his job.
Aww. What a fucking dork.
I'm a union guy, so I'm gonna side with the union workers. Common sense says if you see a crowd full of people striking and they won't let you through, I'm gonna call my boss and tell them I couldn't get through. At no point in time am I gonna try to drive through them and risk getting my ass whooped over a job that probably doesn't care about me and will replace me in a heartbeat. That's boomer mentality, for sure. So that's his side of the story. What are the union workers saying?
Now, we don't know exactly what happened. The union members said the truck hit one of the picketers as they swarmed around it. We did see an ambulance come to assist, and we know that that gentleman did speak with police officers. Again, we'll let the authorities sort out exactly what happened there.
So you're trying to be the employee of the month. You hit one of the people striking, in my opinion. So you deserve to get your ass kicked. And then you came on the news trying to play victim. You didn't wipe the blood off your face because you wanted dramatic effect when we both can see that you got little cuts. So let's just move on to something you haven't heard about the strike, like how much they're getting paid.
But this is one of our pay scales, which is a non-union, an unlicensed position. And he's the top of the food chain in that department that's unlicensed. And then you go down to like AB green, AB blue, and then STOS, which is special trained ordinary seaman.
I'm not gonna bore you with the details. Just know most of these workers get $5,000 to $8,500 a month, which is before taxes. After taxes, they're looking at probably around $3,500 to $5,000. And if you add overtime, they get an extra $26 to $45 an hour, which years ago wouldn't have been bad. But this is a new economy, and $60,000 to $100,000 a year doesn't really cut it.
The economy is so bad, men can't afford to have secret families anymore. Think about it. They used to be taking care of 2 households and kids and the women. And the women weren't even really working. We used to be a proper country.
Men could afford to have 2 families. 2, pay all the bills for his wife and his girlfriend. And no one found out until his funeral, of course. But now the same man can't even afford to feed himself. And most people think this strike is only about money. But it's not.
They can't seem to come to an agreement over contract negotiations about pay and protections against automated technology.
These people aren't just fighting for more money. They're fighting for their jobs. Automation is replacing them.
Anyone who doubts the ability of automation and cars driving on the street and avoiding dogs and people and cats, just take a look at all of this automation right here.
I'm a longshoreman for LA Long Beach, and LA is fighting against this right here. I'll tell you right now. See that? There's nobody there. Automation. I work at an automated dock. It's no joke. They're losing thousands of jobs. So you got all these machines. Look at all these machines right here. There's no people. They ain't paying no taxes. They ain't paying no money. This is what ILA is fighting about. This all used to be filled with top handlers, UTR drivers, clerks, all this yard. Look how big this yard is. And there ain't hardly any people on this team. This is what they're fighting about. I work at an automated dock right here, Port of LA, Long Beach. Keep fighting, brothers. Keep fighting.
And I agree. Continue to fight because, on one hand, technology typically improves the lives of people. A great example of that is the cell phone. We didn't have cell phones 25 years ago, and now most people couldn't live without their cell phones. But the cell phone killed the switchboard operator job, which was sad. Technology tends to kill jobs, but it also creates jobs as well. But this is a little bit different. I believe we've hit a turning point when a lot of this technology isn't creating jobs. It isn't improving the lives of people. It's just improving profits for the mega rich. That truck driver who hit those union workers should be doing everything in his power to support them because his job is also on the verge of being replaced by Tesla trucks that drive themselves. I've already been in a self-driving car, and it won't be long before these self-driving trucks replace these workers. Technology is already replacing people and making billionaires richer. When you go into a Walmart or Whole Foods and use that self-checkout line, your grocery bill doesn't go down, even though you're doing the work of a cashier, and they replace the cashier job altogether. Back in the day, on a Saturday in the supermarket, you could see 6 or 7 cashiers standing there, which used to cost the supermarket $20,000 to $30,000 per employee. And they're gone now, so where does that saving go? I'll tell you, those salary cuts became profits for the billionaires, and it won't stop at grocery stores. This is me at a clothing store. They have a self-checkout for clothing stores now, which was my first job, and that job is going to be obsolete in the future. And like I said, getting rid of the workers will only make bigger profits for the shareholders. The poor will get poorer, and the middle class will continue to shrink until we're all relying solely on the government.
I see history. I see history. I see history. I see profits, because that's what these owners been making so far, but they've been keeping it a secret. We need to get some people together besides my trusted officials. I love these guys. The passion I have for the contract they've negotiated is so, I'll never forget this in my 46 years I've been here.
46 years, his whole life, all for them to replace him over money. And money is obviously important to us because we don't have a lot of it. But when you get to over 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, $1 billion, it just becomes a number in your bank account. Your life won't get any better. So to destroy the lives of 45,000 workers just to see that number on your bank account increase, that's something I will never understand.
I've never seen nothing like this. I've never seen them go after management like they're going, because we've done so much to make them so famous and so big. America's very high on shipping, import-export. Somebody needs to just look at the families. Take care of these women and these men that come here every day, sacrifice their lives, their families, their health. We worked through COVID with nothing, not a dime given to these people, and their families died. I hate the fact that nothing was given to these mothers for their kids, their husband. Nobody paid for the funeral. Oh, come on, something's got to change.
They don't care, and that's the saddest part about it. Millennials and Gen Z, we learn not to care about these companies based on how they treated our parents. 46 years at one company. It's sad.
The last time a strike like this happened was almost 50 years ago.
And according to what I've read, it lasted for 12 days. Now, if history repeats itself, experts say each day will disrupt our economy for 1 week. So that's almost 84 days, a 3-month disruption. So over the past 2 weeks, retailers and manufacturers have been trying to import as much stuff as possible. They've also attempted to ship to the West Coast ports, even though there have also been talks of the West Coast ports striking as well. And they can't do anything about this because you can't fire anyone on strike. It's against the law. And people are saying the president has the power to put a stop to the strike. And if he tries that, our president is going to fuck around and find out. So just take a listen to the union president, because he doesn't sound like he's playing around.
These people today don't know what a strike is. Right. When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, Be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
I don't think he's playing. And not only do I not think he's playing, I stand by him. And no one, I repeat, no one should blame the workers because I promise you, your industry will be next. First, it was the cashiers, and we did nothing. Then it was the port workers. We weren't port workers, so again, we said nothing. Then it was anyone who had an administrative job. Teachers, accountants, secretaries, attorneys, IT specialists, AI technology. ChatGPT is replacing all of them. But still, we say nothing.
Then they came for me. And by that time, no one was left to speak up.
This is bigger than Nino Brown. So let's not get confused on who is at fault.
Don't come after us saying we're greedy. Go after those greedy that own these companies in Europe. Go after them. They're sitting over there taking $4 billion bonuses for themselves at Christmas time. That's got to stop.
How much are they asking for?
Wage increase they are seeking, that number is 61.5%. The president of the ILA speaking exclusively to CNBC earlier today about the negotiations. And I just want to confirm with you, around 61% is what you're looking for.
I didn't stutter. I said around 61.5.
Around 61.5.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daggy. You have a good day.
You do.
Which to me sounds like a lot, but apparently they got it.
USMX, that's the port operators, they refused to comment on that number, and they said to refer to their statement from yesterday that the two exchange counteroffers, USMX issuing that statement before the deadline saying the two traded counteroffers, then they would offer wage increases of nearly 50% and also add to employer contributions when it came to health care and retirement, and also maintain current language when it came to automation and semi-automation, a very contentious issue when it comes to this negotiation.
So they offered 50%. You and I both know the union isn't going to budge.
And we also spoke to the White House. They didn't want to comment on the wage demands from the ILA, but they did note that the real wages for the East and Gulf Coast port workers have actually declined over the last 6 years. They also said they wanted to refer to their earlier statement from today, saying in part, President Biden and Vice President Harris are closely monitoring the strike at East Coast and Gulf Coast ports. The president has directed his team to convey his message directly to both sides that they need to be at the table and negotiating in good faith, fairly and quickly.
Yeah, like they're going to listen to him. These billionaires have the money. He didn't come up with 61% out of nowhere. They have the money. And I haven't done research into it, but honestly, who would you believe? The people who took pay cuts for the last few years or the people who took profits and bonuses for the last few years? Like I said, I'm riding with the union president, regardless of if it costs me money. So what should you be stocking up on?
And depending on how long this strike lasts, you may also see price increases because certain goods just won't be available. The American Farm Bureau estimates a strike of this magnitude for agriculture imports alone for just 1 week could cost more than $1.4 billion. And a 1 week strike of agriculture exports could cost about $320 million. The American Farm Bureau says these ports handle more than 75% of banana imports into the United States, 90% of imported cherries, 85% of canned food, and 80% of chocolate. And these particular ports also handle 80% of the imported beer, wine, whiskey, and scotch, and 60% of imported rum. So if you have a favorite imported beer, wine, or liquor, You may want to pick that up while it's still on the shelf.
She said the most important thing on the list, which was wine. Some of the things she didn't say that I read were clothing, footwear, pineapples, pause, citrus, grapes, eggs, coffee, meat.
No diddy.
Beef and pork, pause, and most importantly, pharmaceuticals. Please fill your prescriptions. You just started watching my channel, so please stay alive so I can get more of that ad revenue. So go out, buy that stuff now before the prices start going up. Because remember, the breakdown in the supply chain during the pandemic caused inflation. This will also cause inflation. It's just simple supply and demand. The supply will be low, the demand will be high, so the prices will have to come up. So like I said, stay safe, and if you want to see why I'm going to jail due to the Chase Money glitch, check this video out.